Hi friends, welcome to DTK Food and Travels. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Today we're going to make two simple potato side dishes. The first one we're going to make is a simple mashed potato. For this I boiled two brown skin potatoes, cut it, and then I'm going to go ahead and mash it. I did not remove the skin because there's a lot of nutrition in the potato skin, and it has a lot of fiber too, so I want to go ahead and keep the skin. But if you want, you can remove the skin. You can use any type of potato for this Yukon or the red skinned. Any of that is fine too. You just want to go ahead and mash it. I'm just rough mashing it. It's not finely mashed. And to this, what's going to give it its flavor is yogurt. I'm going to add 1/4 cup whole milk yogurt. And I have made this before with sour cream too, and it tastes really good too. But this is just another way to make it without the sour cream. So you want to go ahead and put the yogurt in and mix it really good. Just make sure that the yogurt coats all the potatoes. Just get it in there. Get your spoon or spatula and just make sure you mix it really well. Then you want to go ahead and add salt and pepper to taste. And if you don't want pepper, you can certainly leave that out. I thought about adding bacon bits to this, but we were going to have this with the turkey chop steak, so there was enough protein there, so I did not want to add bacon to this, but you can certainly add bacon or chives or whatever you want. So that was it. It's done. It's such a simple side dish and it is so yummy. This is going to be on your rotation for lunch or dinners. Once you make it, you'll be hooked. So hope all of you will try this one. This is so simple. And we had it with the turkey chop steak. But before I served it, I went ahead and made a white gravy for the potatoes. For the gravy, you want to go ahead and heat up a skillet and add 2 tablespoons of butter to it and make sure you coat the bottom of the pan really well with the butter. I have made this gravy with using olive oil before and it turned out fine too, but I felt like using butter today, so we're going to do that. And if you ever looked at any of the gravies in the grocery stores, do you even recognize some of those ingredients on there? Whenever I look at soups or gravies, and I just don't know what half the ingredients are, so then I just learned to make it on my own. So you control what goes into it and you know exactly what's in it. So after the melted butter, you want to go ahead and add about 1/4 of a cup of chopped onion. Any onion is fine. You don't have to add the onions, but I just like a little bit flavor in my gravy, so I've decided to go ahead and use a little bit of yellow onions in the gravy. And you don't have to brown this. You just saute it until it's wilted. And you want to go ahead and add 1 clove of garlic to it. Cut a little piece of garlic. And then you want to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. You don't want to brown the flour. You just saute it just to get the raw flour taste out. Then you want to add 1/2 cup of water and 1/2 cup of milk. The heat is on medium now and you want to just cook it until it's reduced. And you want to check it to make sure that it is cooked. And you want to keep stirring it until it gets to the consistency you want. See, now it's beginning to boil. So it's getting thicker now. You don't want it too thick because remember, as it sits, it's going to thicken up more. So this is just about the consistency that I'm looking for. At this point is when you want to go ahead and add salt and pepper. You can certainly leave the pepper out if you don't want it. Just add salt to taste. Just gonna add a little bit. And this gravy was so good. I used it the first night for the mashed potatoes. Then I used it again another night over some baked chicken. So this is just perfect. So you want to go ahead and turn the stove off and keep stirring it just to make sure that it doesn't burn or get stuck to the bottom of the pan. This gravy is real simple, and especially if you have little kids or you're just watching your diet, this is a better, I think, alternative to using the store brand gravies because you know exactly what goes into it. This was our dinner that night with a side salad. And then the next potato item I'm gonna make is a potato salad without using mayonnaise. For this, I boiled 2 pounds of potatoes, cut it up, and then same thing, I'm not gonna remove the skin. And I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 boiled eggs, just mashed up, into this. The boiled eggs, if you don't like it, you can leave it out. Then 1/4 of a cup of diced onions. I'm using yellow onions again, but you can use red if you have it, but just use whatever you have. And I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of relish. Was the bottom of the bottle. I used up all of it, so it was about 2 tablespoons of sweet relish. That was just the brand that I used. You can use any, it doesn't have to be the sweet relish. Then I have mustard here. I'm using 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. You can use the grainy kind if you have it. I didn't have it, I just had the plain yellow, so that's what I'm using. Then the next ingredient is vinegar. I'm using apple cider vinegar, but you can use the plain kind. It's 1/4 cup of vinegar. Like I said, any type is fine. And then a little bit of olive oil. It's 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And you definitely want to go ahead and add that in since we're not putting the mayonnaise. Then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of sugar. And I did not want to use regular sugar since the potato already has a lot of carb. So I'm using the Splenda sugar-free sugar. So that's why it looks brown, but you can use regular sugar, that's fine. Then salt and pepper to taste. Like I said, you can certainly leave the pepper out if you don't want the extra kick. Then you mix it all up. And there's one final ingredient that I'm adding to this, but you don't have to, but I think it just takes it to the next level if you add it. And that ingredient, of course, is going to be some spring onions. You can add it, like I said, if you want. If you don't have it, you don't have to go out and buy it. You can add fresh dill or dried dill if you have it. That's another item you can go ahead and add in here. I did not add celery to this, but you can certainly add celery. I'm leaving the celery out this time. I'm gonna go ahead and add the chopped green onions at this time. So these green onions are onions that I had bought a few months ago for another recipe. And I tried the trick, you know, where they show you in the videos to put the root in a glass of water and once it sprouts, plant it. Well, I did that and it actually worked. I have so much green onions now. I don't know what to do with it. So I thought, hey, let me try it in the salad, and it turned out good. So if you have it, certainly put it in there. But if not, I wouldn't. That's not an ingredient I would go out and buy just to add. And this tasted perfect. So we had this with some baked chicken. Actually, it's air fryer chicken with a homemade rub. And I'll give you the recipe for that homemade rub we used on the chicken because it was delicious. The first ingredient that we used was 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon salt, half a teaspoon black pepper. Oops, a little too much came out, so approximately it's about half a teaspoon of black pepper, and 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper. If you don't want it too spicy, you can leave the cayenne pepper out, or instead of 1/4, maybe use 1/8 or so. And the final ingredient we're going to use is the garam masala. We're going to go ahead and use 1 tablespoon of it, and that just takes it to a next level. And the final ingredient is brown sugar. You need 2 tablespoons of it, but I had a Splenda sugar-free brown sugar, so that's what we're using, but you can definitely use the regular brown sugar. That's what the recipe usually uses, but I'm just trying to stay away from sugar, so we're just going with the Splenda for this. You mix it up, and you can keep it in a glass jar. And when you make the chicken, so you would need about 1 tablespoon per 1 chicken breast. We're using chicken thighs for it, bone in, and I still went ahead and used 1 tablespoon for it. So when I got the chicken ready, I went ahead and made cuts on top of the chicken, so that way the rub would get inside the chicken and not just be all stuck on top. So you want to go ahead and put a little bit of olive oil on the chicken. The reason for it is that'll help the rub stay on the chicken, so that way it won't all just fall off. The olive oil helps the rub to stay on there. See the slits on there on the chicken? I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 tablespoons, 1 tablespoon for each chicken. So you just want to go ahead and get the chicken in your hand and just make sure that you rub it all over and see how good it's sticking, and see the slits in the chicken. Just make sure you get the rub in there also, so that way you'll have some flavors all the way through, not just the top and the bottom. And this chicken came out so yummy. You can bake this in the oven, but we made it in the air fryer. So I put it on 390 for 10 minutes on each side, and it came out nice and juicy and delicious. It was not dry at all. Or you can use a thermometer to check to make sure it is the correct temperature before you eat it. This was just the perfect dinner. This was my first time making the chicken this way, and I'm definitely going to be doing it more often. Just a heads up, it is a little bit on the spicier side. So like I was saying, if you don't want that much heat, cut back on the black pepper and the cayenne. The paprika gives it the color, but doesn't have too much heat in it, just a little bit. So I put it on foil paper sprayed with olive oil spray. Then I sprayed a little bit of it on top and baked it. And there it is. That was our dinner for that day, with the potato salad and a salad with spinach, pear, and beetroots, and a little bit of feta on top. It was so delicious. I hope all of you will try it. It's a simple, something simple you can have for dinner or lunch. And that's the other turkey chopsteak. I had done a video on that chopsteak previously, so I'll put the link in the description if you all would like to take a look at it. And that was pretty simple to make too. I just made the turkey chopsteak without potatoes this time. Last time it did have potatoes. Since I was going to have a potato side dish, I didn't want too much of it. That's our daughter's cat, Puddles. Isn't he cute?